We bought a dinghy on Alibaba, and at first it seemed like a great deal. When you live on a boat, your dinghy is your car. It's how you get groceries, haul fuel, and explore the world around you. So when we saw two brand new 15-footers with engines on Alibaba for $6,000 each, we thought we'd scored big. But as we found out, getting the right dinghy matters a lot more than getting a cheap one.
We're Blaine and Janice, and this is Tangaroa, our 1969 78-foot aluminum yacht we found abandoned in Alaska. So far, we've ripped out the old Detroit diesels, rebuilt and marinized a pair of Cummins truck engines, and tackled wiring, grinding, and fabricating from bow to stern. But we're just getting started. There's so much more to come. We've got big plans for Tangaroa, and the goal isn't just to live aboard, it's to take her across the Pacific to Japan by way of Alaska. If you're into boat work, engine rebuilds, and making old things new, subscribe and join us on our never-ending sea trial. Tangaroa, we have been through 3 tenders. We had one that came with the boat, the original Caribe. We had one Alibaba tender, and we have one that was made locally in BC. And they're all different. So we've had a little bit of experience with all 3. And on Tangaroa, it's really, really important to have a tender. And especially for us being at anchor all the time and doing refit, we need stuff that's pretty tough. We're hauling stuff all the time, really pushing these things. So we needed something good. And it is absolutely critical that we found one that worked for us. So, tender number 1. Good old Durba. Durba is a 12-foot Caribe that came with Tangaroa. She was powered by a 25-horse 2-stroke Yamaha, super reliable engines. And quite frankly, we didn't even know if she worked when we bought the boat. She was under a cover up on the top. We didn't even attempt to start this boat until we got to Calvert Island, which is way down BC from starting in Wrangell, Alaska. So we had no idea how this thing was going to be. Calvert Island fired up, I think, on the 7th pull. Who knows how many years this thing had been sitting up on the upper deck. So pretty impressive. And what we learned for the years following, Durba was a tank. I mean, however they built these boats, Caribe, from whenever it was built, I'm going to guess this was probably a 7-year-old tender when we purchased the boat. So it had been around for a while. And I mean, it had no patches. The tube still held air perfectly. It had a little seat in the back that was fiberglass. You could sit on while you're driving the boat. So it wasn't like a super, super high-end nice boat, but it was built like a brick shithouse. I mean, we had this thing going for years. We would pile, 3-foot high stuff in this boat, sharp things, heavy things. It didn't care. I mean, it was like our own personal barge for loading refit materials on and off of Tangaroa. And it did so admirably for years. We didn't start seeing issues with this boat until 5 years later. It started seeing some issues with holding air in the tubes. But I mean, it was just phenomenal, and nothing but respect for that tender. Now, Durba, for all of its shining points, did have some disadvantages. For one, it was big and heavy. I mean, Caribe, they built solid tenders, and a 12-foot Caribe, fiberglass bottom, big thick tubes. This thing was heavy. It was tough to get it onto shore. It had leaks between the 2 decks because those come with a double hull. So there's an airtight area, well, supposed to be airtight area, in between the floor that you stand on and the bottom of the hull. That had long since failed, so it did get water into the lower portion of the hull. So we had drilled a bigger hole so we could get a pump in there to pump it out. But yeah, it was heavy. Pulling it up onto shore was difficult. A lot of damage on the hull, trying to pull it up onto rocks and stuff like that. Not super duper well suited for it. It didn't have a console or steering or anything, which wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it was a little bit tougher for the kids or Izzy, for example, to start. It was tougher to pull start. There was no electric start on it. So all in all, it wasn't the perfect tender, but it was the perfect tender for the years of the refit sitting on mooring in Brentwood Bay. But it was obvious we needed something different. Now, living on a boat with 4 people, and I learned this living with my parents in the Caribbean and my brother, it's nice to have 2 tenders. We were working different hours. Kids were going to school, getting off at 2:30, 3 o'clock. I was working until 5 or sometimes later. One tender just made things difficult. And when you're living on board at anchor, it's just nice to have a second tender. So we did a little bit of searching. Janice found 2 aluminum bottom inflatable tenders with Hidea 4-stroke 25 horse motors, center console, steerable, electric start, 2 of them for $12,000 US. Now, that seemed like a pretty good deal at the time. They were on Alibaba, so as you guys that have followed us, we do the occasional shopping on Alibaba with mixed results. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger. We ordered these boats in. They showed up in 2 big crates, and we got to assembling them. Now, for 3 years, the new Alibaba tender became Janice and the kids' main ride. It was the one that was constantly being used in and out to pick up the kids, for shopping, whatever. I used Durba. That just worked out well. But over the years, some shortcomings started to make themselves obvious. First thing that started to happen is the tubes that were supposed to be hypalon started to do some weird things. They started to get like a little sticky, gummy coating would form on them. You'd wash it off, clean it, and it would come back again. Not too long after that, the engine started to run poorly and then eventually failed. It had always made oil, we'll say. As you drove this tender, the oil level would increase. And what that was that's raw fuel getting past the rings of the engine and getting into the oil, which would thin the oil out. So eventually, it just one day stopped running. It would not start, or if it did start, it ran really poorly. Long story short, ended up being a completely failed camshaft on this engine.
And we're gonna do something with this dinghy. Blaine is pumping it out. There's the motor. Remember, we took the propeller off to put on the one that I destroyed. And now we're gonna figure out how we're gonna fix this motor. Because it is foobarred. Right, Blaine? Yeah. Foobarred. I hear a dinghy on. Hold on. I hear a motor running. Did you do it? Woohoo! Thumbs up! He did it. He did it. He did it.
Purrs like a kitten.
Purrs like a kitten. Good job, B. Have you had your coffee yet this morning?
Nope.
That's insane. Uh-oh.
And it died. Like an old kitten.
Uh-oh.
Thinking there might have been some water in that gas.
Could be. New gas.
Yeah. Fortunately, our friend Captain Paul gave us a loaner 9.9 horse Yamaha 4-stroke, which we put on there, and that got us by for the rest of the time that we had that tender. We started seeing some major problems. After a while, started seeing seam failures on the tubes. And, you know, if you were to set these boats side to side, Durba and the new tender, you could see some pretty obvious lacking qualities of the Alibaba tender. The seams were like a single layer seam, where the Caribe tender had a super thick double seam. So basically, things just started failing. Seams started failing on the tender. We were able to seal them up. Janice spent a whole whack of time when we were doing the repower in the yard, resealing all the seams on the boat, re-gluing them all down, which kind of limped us by for a little bit longer. But when this thing failed, it failed catastrophically, quickly, all at once. And let's just say Janice and Izzy having to come back from the dock when the tubes had basically self-destructed was pretty sketchy. Right back wasn't fast enough.
Do you want me to come down there or stay up here?
You can stay up there. Stop.
What?
Keep going, I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, hold it.
Not bad. If you're wondering why it's taken us so long, This boat has never been on the roof of Tangaroa. Actually, we haven't had a boat on our roof since bringing Tangaroa back from Alaska. So that's why we really have to figure out how we're going to do this properly and with the weight of the boat up here. And this one's coming up because she's going to need some love in the boatyard. She's leaking a lot. This is our poor dinghy. Yeah, it's deflated, but you can see we've been having issues with the seams. Those ones aren't bad. This one's really bad. This one. And this one. So what I think I'm going to do is tape all those places. First of all, it's always nerve-wracking doing something you've never done before, and I've never fixed an inflatable dinghy. So I went and found this stuff, and I've done some research. Final Fix. It's not a two-part epoxy, but it's good for PVC and hypalon. I'm going to prep these seams, and they said prep with acetone. I'll tape them off, and then I'll glue them. This front seam, I can't do without the boat being inflated a little bit. Always a new job. Let's see what I can do here. Tender is white. I'm not sure if I would paint a dinghy again, but it looks better than it did, so I was like, whatever. It's painted. We're going to put this one back. You're wondering about the paint. When we were in Roche Harbor, one of our neighbor boats that were anchored next to us actually gave us some paint to paint our boat. So, you know what? I had to try it. I should get the water out.
One's probably already out.
Hold on, I'm coming. Okay, get your arse up here. Oh, bringing Maggie too.
She did not want to be left behind.
Hi, Maggie. Okay.
Boom up.
What?
Probably boom up.
Oh, let's go this up a bit. Then boom up. And then let's go left. Are we gonna clear all the toys?
Sure. We'll have to move them.
Good?
Yep.
Down.
Start coming down.
Boom
Maggie,
down or
how do you?
toe down? Boom down or toe down?
Toe down.
Boom down.
Are you clear on your side?
There. Yep. Boom down.
Got Janice coming in out here. Apparently there was an issue with the tender. So we'll see what this looks like. She's coming really slow.
Search and rescue training. Like this.
Oh, went by a search and rescue training. like this. Oh.
Rescue was like, what are you guys doing? Here's your life jackets.
That looks pretty bad. That looks really bad. I can see why you said that that was sketchy.
Need help with you to grab her computer monitor. Yes.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
I need you to grab that. Okay. Sorry, I need him, everybody. He's got to turn off that camera.
Now, I mentioned a yard visit. While we were in the yard, we had someone using our tender, and I'm not blaming them on blaming this on any of them. But when we got back to Victoria, the 25-horse two-stroke was making some pretty gnarly sounds. Really bad, scrapey, didn't seem to run very well noises, and just didn't trust it. At that same point, we were having major failures on the Alibaba tender. So basically what we did is we took the 4-stroke 9.9 horse off of the new tender, put it onto Durba. We benched the 25 horse Yamaha 2-stroke and had a working tender with Durba. And we obviously had to get rid of the old Alibaba tender, or the new Alibaba tender. We didn't really want it going back into the community in Brentwood Bay there, because we knew it had major issues and it would probably just end up sunk off of a boat somewhere or on the beach. So we made the good decision of cutting off all the tubes and recycling the aluminum section of it. Surprisingly enough, the aluminum portion of the tender was actually in pretty good shape still. But like I said, being responsible people, we turfed that tender. We did not try to sell it to someone else. Durba, on the other hand, she was still running, was starting to see some issues with holding air. So we sold her locally, because still worked out pretty well and could still be used, and sold her for $1,200 with the 9.9.
And Blaine is ripping apart another engine.
Yep.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to start it without the recoil mechanism.
Yeah.
Just to see if it still makes noise, like maybe if it's something rubbing in there. I don't see any witness marks anywhere, but it's just something like it's like it's scraping when it runs.
Been trying to figure out the Yamaha.
Yeah. So I don't see, there's not a lot there that could be making that kind of noise. There's some internal like bearings and whatnot. Maybe, but I'll probably do the leg oil on it just to see if maybe it's just low on leg oil. I don't know. So anyway, I'll try that first just to see, but there's just not much in the top of these motors. What I'm doing
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at parts diagrams, so exploded parts diagrams. So say for
Exploded?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Illustrated,
Oh, got it.
illustrated parts breakdowns. IPBs.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just looking for bearings or anything that could be rubbing, that could be making that kind of noise, and there's not anything external. So
My vote is leg oil.
yeah, we'll try leg oil first and then go from there.
5 years ago, we bought a dinghy from Alibaba. And you know what? It's lasted 5 years, but it is dead now. I've tried everything to fix it. We have taken the console. So this is it here. Let me show you. It's dead. I cannot fix the tubes. We took the console off though and put it in our tender with the good tubes, which is hilarious. So now we should rename them Frankie, but that's a Durba. We are contemplating taking the bench off and putting in a Durba, and we put the motor in Durba. However, we need the space up here for Punga, which is now off the boat. Now I could give this dinghy away. I could give it to some of the guys around here. However, if I do that, it's just going to lay to waste and probably go to garbage and end up on a beach someplace. The most responsible thing is to cut it up. And with that, we have a X-Acto knife. And once I get these tubes off, we're gonna get the, what's it called? Sawzall. Poof, brain fart. What is interesting in here is there's water in here and I can't figure out how it got in. Actually, I can't even figure out where the hole is. So, but I have redone every seam. Uh-oh. Ooh, this cut's easy. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh, it smells in there. Not fixing it now. There's a bit of water in there. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Let's keep cutting all the way around. So I'm guessing the hole is in the back because we found some water. Look at that. He's running John. That's a lot of water. Here it comes. Want to see inside a Chinese inflatable? Sorry, I'm breathing heavy. Okay, the tube, not bad. I have no clue where it's leaking. It said it had separate compartments. They didn't work worth beans. There's a hole there. That wasn't even from me. So those separate compartments did not work. But yeah, that's it. I don't know what it was made out of, but it's not the good stuff like they promised. I should learn better. However, it lasted us a really good 5 years. The motor also broke, but we can fix that. Okay, let me keep cutting. Blaine came up to help me. So we were thinking that we'd have to chop it up to get it to shore. However, it's actually pretty light if we take the bench off. Yeah. So we think we're going to take this bench off, put it in Durba. Now, our Frankie, we should call her Frankie. Durba. Franken-Durb. And we can lower this right into Punga and take it to shore and put it in our mini truck because it's light enough being aluminum. The weight, I find, was all this. Oh, for sure. And with that being off and the water, there's so much water in that other tube, Blaine, that once Blaine takes this off, I think we're good to go.
I'll go get a tool.
Do you know what tool you need?
I do.
You always know what tool you need?
And with this, right?
Yeah. It's a Robertson. Yep. Fairly big Robertson.
The pry bar. Because this is going to be 5,200 it down.
We might be able to just get it without 5,200. Without the pry bar.
Oh.
Oh.
I think you know better.
I can always wish. Gotta be positive about these things. Told ya. 5,200 gave up the ghost.
Grab that side and lift it out of here.
Really?
Too far out.
Just put it right
down there.
I'm videoing. Okay, fine. There we go. Look at that. We did it. We did it. We did it. Two of us can lift that. Okay. It is that time. We're going to move Punga around. We're going to throw this stuff into it. And we're going to hook the crane to this. And take it to the disposal. Well, the hull goes to recycling. That's the plan. So this is a test. This is going to be Punga's first chance to be a garbage scow. And see how she does, because usually it's Durba. So I think Punga would do a better job. Okay, watch out, Blaine.
We're just going to...
Drop it. Yes. Looks like this. Not bad, eh? Ready? Uh-oh. Look at that.
Is that all of it?
Yeah. 2 sides and a bow.
Cool. Down a bit more.
Crane up.
grab the back. Okay.
Crane up or?
Crane up.
Boom up, or thing up.
Inch up.
Okay, you got that?
Yep.
Okay, going right with the crane.
Just keep going down. Don't go right. Now, we were leaving on the Great Siberian Sushi Run pretty soon, so we needed something that was going to be reliable for us. We hadn't had a reliable boat in quite some time. We always had to worry about it, so we got to shopping. I think Janice was on Facebook Marketplace. She found Punga, which is our 12-foot aluminum, all aluminum. I don't even know what to call it. It's basically a cross between a riverboat and a catamaran and who knows what else. And it came with a, looks brand new, Mercury 25 horsepower jet engine. It seemed to fit check all the boxes that we needed. We bought the boat with a trailer for $6,000 Canadian. And then we resold the trailer for $1,200 Canadian. So we ended up with a practically new boat. And this thing was not a sit in saltwater boat. It was trailer stored at the gentleman's house. He had had it since new. And quite honestly, it's tough as nails. We can bring this thing anywhere. Really shallow draft with the jet engine. We can get up rivers. Like we're talking inches of draft on this boat. All aluminum. It's got big armor plating on the bottom of the hull, so we can put it up on rocks, bang it around. We don't have to worry about it. We've got no tubes to have to worry about popping or cutting with anything. We can load whatever we want in here, and the worst it's going to do is scratch the aluminum. So for us, this was a really good tender, and we have thoroughly used it at this point and have been super happy with it.
Watch out for Toby's okay. So okay, go up a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, up. Keep going. Up. Up.
We can, you know what we can do, Paul, is just go back up with it.
Yeah.
And maybe see if we can shift it over a little bit and lay it on its side, on that side.
Watch your heads on those tires. Oh, you want my help?
No, we got it.
Okay, I like it.
There goes
Seat.
the doors.
Okay, we need to hear those.
Yeah.
So we're at the shop today, and what we're doing is Punga is getting a new bottom. So this is Punga, our new dinghy, and as you know, we've had huge dinghy issues, and we've decided that we don't
We're
like.
tired of
We're
huge dinghy
tired
issues.
of inflatable dinghies. So it's like, let's get one that's actually going to last, and that
Matches Tangaroa.
yeah. So this is Punga. Punga is aluminum, and right now she has never seen salt water. She has never had a salty bottom.
She's got a big surprise coming.
Which means she needs bottom paint. So I am prepping the bottom right now, and I'm going to put on 2 or 3 coats of epoxy barrier coat. I should put on more than that, but really that's all I have. It is just a dinghy,
It'll
it's not
have to
Tangaroa.
do.
And then we're going to put on some black bottom paint, and then she's going to get a red stripe, just like Tangaroa. She's going to be pretty. But But Blaine, what did you do with the motor? What did you find out about the motor today? This huge thing. I'll show you.
There's a few nice things about it.
This is the motor we took off of her.
So, funny thing is these tenders are actually rated for a 9.9, which I was a little surprised about. I did talk to the gentleman who makes these, and he knew the boat and he knew the motor. This is a 25 horsepower jet drive. He said, no problems. The motor's been on the boat for ages. There's no issues with it. It works great. So 25 horsepower is apparently good. Well, another thing that I didn't realize is these particular 25 horsepowers are built on a 40 horsepower head. So that means this part of the motor is 40 horsepower. They just detune them to run the 25 horsepower jets. So it's a lot of motor for this boat. Another fantastic thing that I've noticed is this is a fuel injected motor, which I didn't realize when we first bought it. Super excited about that. It starts great. It runs great. Yeah, I'm loving it.
So my job is painting, and it's always been like that. On board, I kind of do the paint and the varnish and everything like that. So I've got to prep this aluminum. So I'm taking a 120 to an 80 grit on all the bottom. Okay, just grinding it down. I'll get all in here. And then as soon as that's done, we're going to take her outside and we're going to safely put on some Alidine, which allows a chemical bond of the epoxy barrier coat. Then I'm going to get on the epoxy barrier coat, let it dry, and then get the bottom paint on. And then we got to find a boat launch. Oh, and I got to put on the red stripe, which I'm actually kind of excited. We weren't going to, but I found some extra red paint from when we did Tangaroa boot stripes. So Punga's getting a boot stripe.
Okay. Hey.
Okay, I totally thought I was done grinding aluminum, especially when we took Tangaroa down to bare. But guess what? I'm grinding aluminum again. So, Punga, like I explained, we are going to bottom paint her and add a red stripe to her just like Tangaroa. So I had to grind the whole thing. I did it down to 80 grit, which is what they recommend before we put on the epoxy barrier coat. But first I'm going to put on Alidine, which is basically a Luma Prep. It's a 2-coat process to help with the chemical bond of the epoxy barrier coat. So now that she's all sanded and ready, you can see where the stripe is. I'll show you where the bottom paint is going till right here. And there's going to be a 1-inch red stripe, which I think will look very sexy. And then of course we're going to have to put her name on her, and might as well put our YouTube channel on there too. But yeah, Punga is ready to be painted. The only problem is Blaine went to the airport to import some water maker membranes. So he's not here and I'm on by myself. He even took the dog and my car.
No, it doesn't have your part on it.
It has been a while since I smelled that smell of epoxy barrier coat.
You know you miss it.
So the dinghy, I took it out this morning. I did the Luma Prep on it, which is a brightener. And then I put the gold on it. It actually didn't turn gold, but it's all prepped now. She's dried, which means I could put the first coat of epoxy barrier coat on. The plan is, I have leftover epoxy barrier coat. So I think I'm going to put on 3 coats. It's probably how much I have. I just mixed it up. And this is Interprotect 2000. I don't give slivers. So I just mixed it up. I'm just going to wait a little bit to let it induction time. And then we're going to roll it on the sucker. Going to try and get 3 coats on in the next day and a half before we put on some copper-free bottom paint. Actually, the bottom paint will come on after the red stripe. Red stripe first. Very important. She's got to match the mothership. Day 4 at the shop, putting the second coat of epoxy barrier coat on this boat, on Punga. So let's see how the first coat went. I'm hoping it's dry, because if it's not dry, we have an issue.
All right, here's Janice's wonderful job on the red stripe. This is only coat number 1, I believe. So there's another coat going on, but this one actually covered pretty well on the tinder here. So we're gonna, I think the plan is finish up the red stripe tomorrow. And then after that, all we have is the bottom paint. And actually, I take that back. We've got a little bit of welding to do to reinforce the transom. And then it's putting the motor on and getting this bad boy in the water to give it a go. Pretty excited about that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Guess what time it is? It's time to put some bottom paint on Punga. And I have to say, I love when I can paint the black over the gray and get rid of the epoxy barrier coat, because the gray just is like, there's so much work to do. But we are putting on, what are we putting on? Bottom coat CA, which means it's copper free. We have to put on copper free because Punga's aluminum, and you don't want the two dissimilar metals interacting, making a battery, causing a whole bunch of, you know, nasty corrosion, stuff like that. So I'm putting some bottom paint on Punga, put 1 coat, 2, then 3 coats, and then I think once we flip her over, got a bit of welding to do, Blaine's got some repairs to do, then she's going in the water, and it's gonna be perfect for our trip north to the Broughton Archipelago. But yeah, let's get painting. Okay, I don't know where to start. Oh yeah, let me just get it. I gotta get in the groove, baby. I start weird when I record because I want to show it to you, but I'm not in the groove. And there's always a way to paint each boat, like, you know, a pattern that everybody does. And being that this one's got these ribs on the bottom, I kind of do that first, and then I use my brush, and I get in the corners. Because really, this is the bottom. Like, you're not going to see it. It is that time to show you Punga. Oh, look at all that black, beautiful bottom paint. Yeah, I know, all the little things is from the roller, but that's okay. Once we get that blue tape off with the red, she's gonna look so pretty. But first, we need 2 more coats of bottom paint. Okay, everybody, we did it. We just got the 3rd coat of bottom paint on this boat, and I wanted you guys to be the first, with Blaine and I looking to see what the black looks like the red stripe. So you guys ready? Okay, come closer. Come closer. Are you ready? Because this is the best part of tape. It's almost orgasmic. Here we go. Oh, what do you think? Oh
no, the red's
shit.
coming off.
I'm going this way. What do you guys think?
All right, Punga is ready to rock and roll. Hopefully we can get this done tomorrow and bring it around to the boat. I finished doing the reinforcement, so I had to re-weld the corners here. They were cracked. That was really dirty welding even after I cleaned it up. And then, so I put the dowels through up here to keep that from pinching. So I was able to really get these bolts tight this time. And then obviously the lower bolts didn't do anything with those, sort of clean it up. And then you can see the reinforcement pads I've got in the back here to help try to reinforce that upper piece of box tubing there. So hopefully that'll all work out well. But as you can see, we've got motor on, ready to go. So pretty exciting stuff. Can't wait to see how this thing performs tomorrow.
Exciting day, everyone. What are we doing?
We are getting Punga ready to launch.
So we just put on a new bow line. Actually, it's not. We just took it off of the other tender. And what's those?
These are the plugs for the hull.
Always very important. We have 3 plugs in this boat.
Ta-da!
And we were going to launch it at Talista boat launch, but there's a big storm over the weekend, and the whole boat launch is full of logs. Like, it's insane. It is closed. So we are driving to Goldstream to Hall's boat launch, and we're going to launch it there.
There will be no launching it to this dock.
So we've got one plug there, and that was a live well. One plug in that one over there, which is a live well, and one in the center.
There we go.
That's way better than the pipe we have on Durba.
Time will tell. It does have the foamy grip, so it's not quite as cold and gross in your hands. But
for Durbas, I just went to the plumbing store and got a piece of gray PVC pipe, and we threw it on there as the handle and threw a hose clamp on it. It's been working perfectly for a couple years.
That's been like close to 4 years we've been using that thing.
I know. Okay, well, what do you think?
I think we're pretty much ready to go here. Just got to hook it up to the truck and rock and roll.
Why do you cross those?
Mainly because if you cross, they have more of a pull right off the bat if something comes loose. Versus it won't go away as far before it starts to pull tight and get back in line. That's my take on it anyway.
It's the little things.
I am by no means a trailer
driving
expert.
You ready, Maggie? Let's go for a boat ride.
Look at that water line though. Nailed it. Third pull.
Have fun. Look at you go. Bye, Maggie. What a cool boat. Definitely a Punga.
Ride's a little bit bow down. Might have to make some improvements there. But all in all, glad it's a calm day. So I think they might have mounted the motor a little bit too high on this because it tends to cavitate a lot. You can't trim the motor up at all. So we're gonna have to deal with that. But otherwise, seems to run smooth. No issues there. All in all, not bad. What'd you think, Maggie? What'd you think? We made it. Just pulling back into anglers now. Definitely going to need to be some adjustments made to this though.
Now, I mentioned we love Punga. Punga's got some downsides. So for starters, there's no positive flotation in this boat. Obviously, all of our previous tenders had tubes on them. You could fill them up with water. They would still float. This boat will not. This boat will sink. It's got no battery. It's got no bilge pumps. Because like I said, it was never a sit-in-water kind of boat. It was a trailered boat where they would take it out on a river, go up hunting with it, pull it up on shore, whatever. Didn't have anything to sit in the water for prolonged periods of time. So that's one mark against it. And we've noticed the second mark. This is a really flat boat. It's got very low freeboard on it. If you get two people step on the edge of this in this back corner, you got about that far before that rear corner will go underwater. So It's stable, don't get me wrong, but there's just no freeboard. And the downside with that is if you take it out in rough water, it is really easy to get water over the side of the boat. The front as well, it rides really flat. And if you come over the back of one wave into another one, you're going to take a wave over the bow, which we have done as well. It's not pleasant. So it's a great tender for what we're doing right now. But once we start to get to other places, we're probably going to need something different. Actually, another con is the good old jet engine here. It's got no way to flush it. It is there, you know, you can get the ears you can put on the motors, or they have a little hose attachment that you can plug on and you can run fresh water through. There is no way to do that with this engine. I've heard of possibilities of modifying the lower unit to do that, but yeah, there's not an inherent way to do that with this engine. So there's some things that could improve. And obviously, when we get down to more southerly climes, it's going to be a lot hotter. And this bare aluminum is going to be 1,000,000 degrees. I mean, take skin off kind of heat. So may not be the optimum tender once we get to those areas. But for up here where we're ripping up rivers and we're throwing this thing on rocky shores, this is perfect.
Now, last night we had a massive storm here. Blaine and I got back out to the boat with Punga at about 4 o'clock. We had to make the decision because she has no bilge pump and it was pouring down rain. We couldn't leave her in the water overnight. Blaine would not have slept. It just would have been all bad. So we lifted her up onto the deck. Let me show you, because right now she's on the roof. What do you guys think? Doesn't she look good? Ignore the lawn chairs in it. They're just up there. Everything's dirty from the fireplace. I'm gonna have to clean it, but she fits up here perfectly. So what Blaine has to do is we have to figure out these. So these fins break the water from coming up. However, they will also scratch all of the new boot stripe off Tangaroa, the one I, so painstakingly painted. So we got to put some rub rails on that. Also, we've got to lower the motor. She's riding too high. Blaine's looking at, what are they called? Jack stands? Jack something? Jack plates? Anyways, he's looking at something to lower the motor into the water, because right now it's just sucking air, especially if you get up on a plane. But we are quite happy with her. Oh, and the other thing Blaine has to do is these cabinets here, they are not waterproof, which means we get a lot of water, which means you've got 3 plugs on her to drain the boat.
So the Alibaba tender, I mean, we really ask ourselves, was it worth it? I mean, it was $6,000. We probably got 4 years of use out of it. It was hard use. I mean, this tender was in the water 24/7, and it did get dirty, and it was not rinsed all the time. I mean, we certainly could have been better on maintenance with it. But I would say, honestly, probably not. I mean, that was a lot of money, and there's a lot of boats and motors out there that have done worse, that have lasted a lot longer. So probably wouldn't do that again, but hey, you learn.
Just talk about how we still have the motor. Okay. Say, by the way, if you want to know what happened to the motor.
By the way, if you want to know what happened to the motor, we still have it. Funny thing about the Hideas is they're basically Yamaha clones, and I was able to get an entire camshaft and rocker assembly off of a Yamaha, and it's sitting at our house in Victoria, ready to be reassembled and put back into work again. So what we've decided is, once we've left Japan and we're heading down to southerly climes where we're going to be beaching this thing on sand, we're probably going to start looking for maybe some more appropriate tenders, maybe something with a little bit more of a V for better comfort off in rough weather, things with the ability to keep water out better, with positive buoyancy, things like that, yet still have the ability to load maybe some scooters into and out of. Who knows? But I'd imagine it's going to be considerably different than what we have now.
This dinghy wasn't the only thing we bought off Alibaba. Blaine also built a DC generator with Alibaba parts and an eBay engine, and let's just say that didn't go quite as planned either. Check out that video next, and if you want to be part of something big, join our online community for an extra video every week, crew-only clothing, and access to our Discord community.